What's up, guys? I'm here with Jason from GameTech, and this is the first actual episode of the RetroRGB Road Trip. What's up, man? I'm here with Jason from GameTech. How's it going?
Hello.
We're seeing the other side of the camera this time. I've been watching your videos since you started putting these videos up. You always got the angle right here, with you looking at your stuff, and now we're seeing the other side. So yeah, thanks for having me over. I've known you for almost 6 years now. I checked my email before I came here and just, searched for GameTech, and it was, did you sell stuff on eBay for a while too? Did you ever sell game packages? I think I looked it up, it was June 20th. I bought like a bunch of light gun games from you on eBay. And then like a few months later, I was like, I didn't even know it was you. And then I asked from your main website to do the NES RGB, or no, it was the PlayChoice 10 RGB mod. Mm-hmm. So, man, it's been if you think about how much this happened in just the NES RGB world from then till now, it's like light years different, huh?
Yeah. No, yeah, I used to sell a lot of stuff on eBay before I really got going with GameTech. That was my main thing, really.
Oh, just like eBay collecting and selling and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So, well, we did an interview a while back, so I don't want to repeat too much of myself, but you were the second person when I started RGB that I ended up contacting. First, obviously, well, technically third, my cousin Scott, obviously, number one. My buddy Phil, who I think he's camera shy, but you were number 3, which is absolutely fitting that you would be the first person I come visit for the RetroRGB road trip. So it's very cool to actually be here. But for anybody that didn't see that other interview, what was like your driving force to get you into doing all this cool stuff with retro gaming?
Honestly, it was the Nintendo top loader. Mm-hmm. I found eBay in like early 2002, and I just wanted to buy everything that I ever wanted as a kid.
Yeah.
So, like, my thing was baseball cards for a long time. So I bought a bunch of baseball cards and satiated that need. So then I moved back to video games, and I thought, I'd really like to play Zelda. So I got on and looked for the biggest, best deal of Nintendo stuff I could find. And it happened to have a top loader in it, which I had no idea what that was. And then,
so just like a bulk auction?
Yeah, there was like, I would say 20 boxed games and like 60 or 70 loose games.
Wow.
And a top loader, and I probably didn't pay $200 for it.
Oh, wow.
It was back before anyone knew what the top loader was, or, before game prices went insane.
Yeah, I think about 2000 about 2000's when I got into it. I was getting things like, I think I got a CDX for like $75 or something. Like, you could, it's like buying Xbox 360 games now, right? You can get 10 of them for $5. So
if you know what you're looking for, it's probably worth looking into.
Yeah. So that was it? You just went from selling?
Yeah, so I played Zelda and I was satiated on that, but then hooking it up to the TV was cumbersome because it was RF only. And I don't remember how or other, but I ended up on the Games X site and found Kevtriss's write-up on how to do the composite mod.
Yeah, that's right.
And it went from there. I started buying more top loaders and modifying them and selling them on eBay. And I only stopped doing that like 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah, because you were, I guess it did overlap for quite a while, right? Because you're doing mods and selling stuff. That's overwhelming, man. It takes a lot. I don't think a lot of people realize how much effort it takes to start selling stuff on eBay. Selling stuff anywhere, really, but like, the one thing I always taught myself, which I didn't practice for years, but now I do, is anytime I go to sell something, I package, weigh it, get everything ready, and then list it on eBay. Yeah. That way when the time comes, I just slap the label on and go.
Yeah, it's annoying to try to get on there and buy something, and then all of a sudden you look at the shipping and it's like $50 for something that's going to cost $10.
Right, yeah.
And it's just because they have no idea how much it weighs, so they put in, it weighs 10 pounds, and it doesn't weigh anywhere near that, Or on the reverse end, you look and the shipping's like $10 and it should be $50, and you're like, great, I'm getting a deal. And then the seller contacts you and says, hey, I screwed up the shipping, you owe me $40 more. Like, nope, you screwed up is exactly the phrase there. It's happened to me recently.
Really?
Yeah, it still happens. A lot of people used to ask me, like friends and family, it's like, oh, you're good on eBay, can you sell stuff for me? I'm like, nope.
Yeah, I still get that
I will
all
not
the
do
time.
that.
Like, can't you just throw this up here for me? Oh man, can't tell you how many times something's happened where I have to go back and tell a friend like, hey, you only got $100 for it. What do you mean? Like, said it sold for $250.
Yeah, well, a lot of times it's people want to sell something that's like $10 or less, and I'm like, unless it's like $20, I don't really want to mess with it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I want to take a lot of good pictures, and I want to do the research to see what they're selling for, and you know, try to get what's worth out of it instead of just starting to let it go. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always told people, I said, unless it's really valuable and really easy to sell, I don't really want to mess with it. And I don't think I ever did. I don't think I ever sold one thing for anybody.
Oh, I did. It was almost always more of a pain than it was worth.
Mm-hmm.
I love my friends, but don't ask me to list anything on eBay. So, what made you start getting into making videos then? What was the crossover from modding to videos or anything?
I don't remember. I know I had a couple really low budget videos pretty early on, like maybe 2010 or 11. And I remember it was, I had stuck like a pin laser to the side of a zapper gun and put a switch on it to turn it on and off. And I made a video of it, and just all I did was show the red dot on the wall and like kind of a little bit of the gun, and I was moving around turning on and off. Didn't talk, didn't show my face, nothing like that. That was one of the earliest videos.
Huh.
About the same time I was also doing, I had just bought a thermal camera, and I was doing testing on, you know, what made the chips hotter or cooler or whatever, and I think there was some video about that too. But it was really, when I moved here in like 2012, I started watching the EEV blog, and he started talking about how he was actually making a living doing it. You know, and I started thinking, maybe I could do that. And that was the whole intention, was to make a living doing videos. And that is not what happened at all.
No, man, you turned into the modding guy for a while.
I made a guide on how to do the composite mod. And instead of people being like, thanks for the guide, they're like, hey, I want you to mod mine. I'm like, what? How did this happen? You know, just... It's an odd effect where people think they get to know you from watching you do the work, and they're like, you do good work, and I feel like I know you, so I like you, therefore I want you to do mine. And that's why I tell a lot of my modders, I'm like, you guys need to get on and do videos and show your face, talk to people, talk to the camera, because then people will think they know you, and they get to the point where they like you, and they will make you their main guy.
Everybody wins in that scenario. That's why I love stuff like this. I mean, you put up videos about yourself doing mod work. Yes, it's kind of free promotion for yourself at the same time, but now you're also showing people what they could expect to get. So people watch a couple of your videos and go, all right, you know, I like how that's done, here you go. And they don't have to worry about coming back and opening up their console and having a wad of glue and some snot in there or something. Like, it's it works for everybody. Everybody gets exactly, you know, everything's on the table, everybody knows what to expect. I think it's great. For
the most part, I mean, there's still people doing videos where they don't show everything. Like, they'll show the end result of it hooked up to a TV and working. And that's not the kind of modder you want to get involved with.
Yeah, that's not what I meant. If they're not
showing the inside, if they're not showing how they do it, then probably need to stay away.
Yes.
Or at least ask. Yeah. Ask for pictures of inside, and if it looks good, then you might be okay.
Yeah, it's, I forgot to make that point. You're right. In the video, showing the mod work itself and how they do the mod work. So that is a big point. You don't want somebody installing like an RetroRGB with a hot air gun or something like that. We've both seen some crazy stuff over the years. But yeah, anybody that's looking to make videos, show the end result too. A lot of people were complaining that some of the videos that had been up showed this very cool mod work, and then that's it. Put the case on, and it doesn't actually show it plugged into a TV. So as silly as a thing as that might sound,
I get that a lot too. But usually, if I don't, it's because there's some other video that already shows it, and then this is just like a different version of how to do the mod or something to that effect. I think my most watched video right now is an N64 Ultra HDMI install, and I don't think I show it working in that video. It's mostly just about the install, and there's comments on there that says, well, why didn't you show it working? Well, because there's just not much reason. You know, it didn't dawn on me that I needed to show it, because I've shown it before. I mean, and also it's like, showing it working is one thing, but like doing a full capture and like showing the differences between, like, this is composite, this is like a basic RGB mod, this is tunes mod, and this is the Ultra HDMI. That's a video I can't even really do that, because I don't have all the correct capture stuff.
Yeah, I mean I did a lot of that with the SNES stuff, and that was hundreds of hours worth of work trying to get all that in. I did the Ultra HDMI mod for the N64. That review was pretty extensive, and I think I maybe did one or two composite comparisons just to show as an example, but I don't think people realize how time consuming that is. I'm sure you get it too, but I get a lot of people that are like, hey, would you mind just snapping a couple pictures of this? I was curious what it looks like for a project I'm working on. It's like, I would love to do that, but I don't have the 5 hours it's going to take to set up, tear down, and do all that.
Well, not only that, but the investment in the equipment, and then the investment in time in learning how to use it, and then finally getting to the point where you can actually do comparison testing on stuff.
So you want to show off your setup and kind of show everybody the other side of what it looks like to be at Lab Game Tech?
Yeah. This is like the angle most people see, and the only thing different is I have changed PVMs temporarily. The old one's down here. It's the one everybody complains about being too red or whatever. There's something wrong with it.
So that was the 20-inch, what was the
2030.
2030, and that was the 14M4U?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the higher line count 14-inch monitor. Those things are cool.
And now that it's up here, I'm still on the fence of whether to keep it. You can kind of see where the footprint used to be for the 2030, and now I have this turned towards the camera. It's really not a whole lot more room, which was one of the things I was going for, is more space up here. But also it's mono audio, and the 2030 had stereo input and output, and I had a couple Sony Cube speakers hooked up to it, so I could actually just like hook in audio into this from something else that I was testing. Like say I'd have HDMI going to the small TV, and then I'd test analog audio out through the cubes through the PVM, but now I can't really do that unless I wanted to put a receiver or something in here. And I don't know if I want to like fix the 2030 and get it back up here, or just try to make this work or whatnot. But right now this RGB TV works, and this one looks like crap, so that's what we're going with for now.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of those 14-inch PVMs. They're small enough where you could use it on a lab table like you have it, but they're big enough where if you just want to sit and game on it for a little while, it's fine. I loved my 8-inch, but man, if you tried to play anything more than just basic testing, it's really hard to see.
Do you think you're going to see more, like just say like the RGB noise on a Super Gun, do you think you're going to see it more on a bigger tube than you would on the smaller tube, or?
I'm going to go with yes, because one of the things I used to check is the SMPTE color bars in both the 240p test suite and the HD RetroVision software. And I would have to get my face right up to that 8-inch to be able to see where the colors blended. I mean, obviously for stuff like that you should do captures anyway, but just for a quick glance to see, I did find it the bigger the better, trying to figure out where those color bars blend together and if the colors are off. So I'm strangely colorblind, where I can see all the color bars, but shades kind of mess with me sometimes. So the bigger the better. Then when it's really blatant, it's easier for me. But.
So yeah, I have a hot air station over here that I rarely use. I just never got, I wouldn't say I didn't get the hang of it, but I just never got to the point where I liked using it. Had a couple instances where like that PCB I was showing you earlier, where I used it and I caused a bubble on the PCB itself, and it actually popped and spat something back in my face. And scared the shit out of me. Like it hit like my bottom eyelid or something, just enough to scare you, like, okay, maybe I should rethink this. And that was just a test to see if I could get the dip chip off faster using hot air than just trying to use a solder sucker or whatever. So it rarely gets used, but it's there if I need it.
So this is where you do pretty much all your videos. You have all your demonstrations here.
Yeah, this is like the test area more than like work area. Like my soldering station is over here, so most of work gets done over here.
All right, so you want to show your solder station?
Actually, it's buried under here. It's a DD5700. Some people ask.
Oh, yeah.
I upgraded to a dual station thinking I was going to use these tweezers a lot. And then one of them burnt out, and just never used it a lot anymore.
Yeah, I've always wondered about these. Oh yeah, one of them broke off anyway. I always wondered about those. I thought they would come in handy for things like the surface mount components.
Yeah, that's exactly what I bought, the surface mount caps.
And you got your overhead camera here. So that's how you get your top-down shots for everything.
Just a simple anchored to the wall. That's the other tripod I was thinking of.
That's hysterical. I love it though. It works. It absolutely does its trick. And so that's all the top-down shots, and I guess sometimes you would just pull the other camera over here to get the other side shot when you're doing that. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I have a handheld camera that I'll put like a macro lens on to get really close-up stuff. But yeah, I upgraded to the dual station. I think I was going to use the tweezers, and I think I used them once or twice, and then the actual cartridge like burned up. I think it used to be sitting here, but I don't think I got rid of it. But I think it's even in the videos where I was using on some surface mount caps, and you could just see it turn bright red. It got so hot. And I actually bought replacement cartridges, and just maybe because I don't do a lot of cap jobs anymore. That's the other reason. And you can buy tips for the JBC that actually look like a fork that are just wide enough to fit on each side of the capacitor. This is not for a capacitor. Oh, there's one. Would need for like maybe a 06 or 04 surface mount cap. Maybe you can just stick it on each side of it, grab it up off of there. I think that's more for like a really tiny surface mount chip.
See if I can get that in focus. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. So we got the room tour, we got everything, we got the inside scoop, but I guess what's next? Is there stuff that you've been working on that you could talk about? Where do you see your channel going? I mean, you've made quite a name for yourself over the past 6 years, between the videos, the modding, and your work on the High Def Nest project. Anything else that you could talk about? I think you already publicly announced that you'll be helping Woozle sell the GBA kits, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and hopefully he'll be doing more like that with Neo Geo Pocket and Game Gear. And a lot of people are pushing for 2DS, 3DS stuff. I don't even know if it's possible. We haven't discussed it yet, but obviously it would be a good move just because of it's still a current console and whatnot. Yeah,
definitely. But anything else you got on the horizon? I mean, you got a pretty impressive setup here. I saw your warehouse of stuff. Anything on the horizon?
Dude, there's so much stuff I wouldn't even know where to start.
Pick one.
Well, one thing I could talk about is I've been debating to start doing consignment sales on the site. So, like, let's say you're a modder who wants to sell pre-modded consoles and you don't have a name for yourself, or you do have a name for yourself but you just don't want to deal with whatever having a site or trying to sell them on eBay or whatnot. And we can do one of two ways where I just get pictures posted on my site, take a small cut, and then the modder ships to whoever buys it. And maybe I don't actually see the console myself, or it could be shipped here and I could do my own pictures and do my own inspection of it and take a little bigger cut, and then I ship to the customer.
Either sounds kind of interesting. I mean, obviously they'd have to be people that you trust and not just random sending you consoles to sell. But
that's why I think it would be, if it was people I already knew did good work, they could just take care of shipping to the customer, because we already know whatever the mod is, they probably did it right. But if it's somebody unknown, might have them ship it to me so I can look it over first and do all the testing, maybe do some videos about him or whatever.
Yeah, makes sense. I think it's one of the things that you've obviously proven yourself for is being able to resell and support stuff. So I think that for a trusted modder, somebody that does good work and likes modding but doesn't want to have to deal with the other side of things, that might actually be a great fit. So that's a cool thing. I never thought of doing that.
That's basically where Game Tech has been heading ever since High Def Nest. It's like people like Ketris and Marshall, they don't have the time to sit around and ship kits. So, and there's a lot more people like that out there that I'm like, hey, this is what I do. I like it and I'm good at it. Because I've been doing eBay for 15 plus years, so I know how the shipping stuff side works, and we've got all that figured out. And I'm technically inclined enough to like answer some of the questions people ask. Sometimes I can't.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like, well, I wrote up a lot of frequently asked questions for High Def Nest, and I was very involved in it, so I can answer more High Def Nest stuff than like Ultra HDMI.
So do you have Ultra HDMI kits pre-orders? I think those are all sold out now, right? So is that for the foreseeable future, the way it's going to be, as far as you know from Marshall, are you going to see how many kits he's going to allot to you, do your pre-orders, he'll send them to you when they're done, or is there ever going to be more of a stock coming in?
I can't really say. I always ask often to sell more, and Marshall got screwed over multiple times by Fabs, and so I think he's gun shy on ordering too many. And he's
fair.
told me he's working on getting a better supply going. Whether that means using multiple Fabs or I don't even know what it entails. That's the most information I got out of it is he was working on trying to make it more available.
Yeah, stuff like that. Not to go off on a business tangent, but we that's the difference between being a bigger company and an individual or just a single LLC. And that when you have when I say bigger company, just a company with a couple of employees, but you got all the business stuff set up, you could do purchase orders to places. So you could have them, with terms of payment. So we did a couple for the hardware manufacturing thing where we prepaid a lot of money for some prototypes. They were perfect. I think with one of them we bought 5,000 internal power supplies for a computer. Then they arrived, and all of them, they had swapped out components with cheaper ones, and everything was failing on them. So we just simply said, you're not getting a penny. If you want to call your lawyer, that's fine, but you didn't ship us what you said, so you need to ship us the new stuff. We're going to throw all this out, or if you want to ship it back. And every time something like that happened, because it was business terms, they scrambled and, oh, I'm sorry, and they got it over. And unfortunately, when you prepay, you don't have that option at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, of course we'll fix it, this year.
It would be nice to get to that point where we could have more control over the product we're getting.
Who knows, maybe if more people start to sell through you, game tech could grow enough to the point where it's you could have that rightful power.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you're looking to bully companies. You're simply asking to get what you paid for, and nothing more. So it sucks that that's not uncommon to have people have especially when I say small orders, even 1,000 is a small order for some of these manufacturing places. So I couldn't imagine how pissed I'd be if 1,000 flex cables showed up all wrong or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing that's coming is the sales tax thing. I have a feeling that people that don't want to mess with it might just shut down their sites.
Yeah.
And possibly that might be, an acquisition for Game Tech. It's like, you know what? I'll take care of all that if you let me sell your product.
Yeah, I don't think, once again, not to rant on business, but I don't think many people really grasp the whole tax side of things as well. So if you buy something for $5 and sell it for $8, you're losing money.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and if you do that a lot, you're losing a lot of money. So there's a lot more that goes into it. Stuff that I had known from the past, and even stuff that I had no idea on that I'm just learning now, all the behind the scenes stuff. So it's hopefully that won't affect too much of the modding community, though. People
it's from what I've heard so far, it's just going to be state dependent, and there might be an income cap. It's like, well, if you make this amount of sales, then you definitely need to be paying sales tax, but the lower people may not get messed with for a while.
It might work out to be fair. If you're making $100,000 a year off of something, you should pay taxes on it. But if you've made $5,000, that's shitty. So
it's not worth it for them to come after you. So
no. I guess all that remains to be seen. So a lot of stuff coming out, a lot of stuff you're working on.
There's at least 10 more people that are in the works for selling stuff on Game Tech, and unfortunately none of them are ready enough for me to start talking about.
No, that's fine. I'm just glad there's a path forward because I want to keep seeing all that really awesome stuff come out and see what else could happen. I notice you have a ton of those top-loading NESs behind you, and I always see those in your videos. Are you going to start selling more pre-modded NES units on your store?
I don't know about more. I'm going to continue to do it. It's really when I have time and when there's not 100 other priorities to get taken care of. And honestly, there's a lot more priorities than selling pre-modded consoles. I want to get it done just to get them out of here. That's only a fraction of what I have. but those are the really nice ones.
Mm.
That's why they're up there. It's like that's one I'm gonna go to first because they're in really good shape. Everything else that I have is stuff that I bought broken.
Mm-hmm.
So it probably has a bad CPU or RAM or something in it, or just the shell is not very nice.
Mm-hmm. Have you considered 3D printing at all? Investing in one of those 3D printers and messing with it?
No, because it's just another whole universe of knowledge that you have to get a handle on before you can move forward with it.
Agreed.
And there's already hundreds or thousands of guys out there that's their main focus.
Yeah.
And they can do it way better than I can.
I was just thinking more along the lines of once you get it set up, because and I know nothing about 3D printers, this is just hearsay, but I think that to get it set up and calibrated requires either patience or somebody who's done it before. But then, for the most part, as long as you know how to align and balance at least for all the ones that are more consumer friendly, you just put your design on the USB stick and stick it in. Because I was just seeing some of the stuff you have up there, and I was thinking some of the 3D mods that are out there or 3D printed mods that might work cool, like with the top loaders. Greg's middle piece, so you could put the HDMI or the high def NES right
on.
One
of the guys I'm talking to, actually.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. I'm glad. He donates so much cool shit to the community. I'd love to see a few of those be sold without cutting, just for the purpose. So.
Yeah. I think when he first posted it on Twitter, I immediately was like, yes, I'm interested. Please email me.
Yeah, I think I do that with all of his products.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's good. I'm glad to hear that, because it's one of those. I've seen so many modders on eBay drill just Swiss cheese into the back, and not the the HDMI stuff. You know, the high def NES, the Ultra HDMI. Those are very small cuts. Those aren't things that they won't. I don't feel like you're ruining a product when you're doing that. You're adding an awesome feature. But I just see so many of the other things that are Swiss cheese, and I'm like, oh, you just killed that console for connectors that aren't going to matter in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
like the old composite mods and top loaders.
Oh man, yeah. Somebody was selling SMSs, and they wanted me to feature them on my website, and it was composite left-right audio, even though it's only mono output, and S video, and they said, and then they cut a hole for a VGA port so you could use a VGA to RGB output. I'm like, oh my god. I get it. I get that the SMS is nice and long with that flat back, but you've just ruined the top of this console for something that already has a multi-out. So, sorry for my ruining your consoles rant, but...
No, I look at eBay stuff every morning, and I see lots of high-def NES and Ultra HDMI consoles. I see all of them that are posted, and I rarely see high-def NES ports that I think are as good as they could be. A lot of them are really bad. Like, they don't even have a file.
Mm-hmm.
They just use a drill and a knife, and that's it. Ultra HDMI is a little easier, I guess, but...
Well, I am by no means skilled with a knife or a drill, but the first couple of Ultra HDMI mods I did, I used an X-Acto knife, but I knew what I was getting into. I was being very patient, very careful, and it came out fine.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't come out as good as the ones that you do, but you'd have to get right up to it to notice the difference. It's not like some of the ones I've seen where people take like a pair of pliers and break off the plastic underneath or something. I've seen those before. That's embarrassing to look at, but yeah. What kind of tools do you use when you drill those holes? Do you have like just Dremel sets and stuff? Or?
I rarely use the Dremel, actually.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I drill holes in the plastic just with the cordless drill, and then I usually take an X-Acto knife and cut it out close, and then finish it off with a file. And I have, I just bought a cheap Walmart set of files that are really small.
Yeah. Huh. I wouldn't have guessed that. It looks pretty nice.
The plan was to have a metal template where you could use a Dremel, and actually bought some Dremel bits just for this purpose. Kind of like it's a cutting bit, but it looks like a drill bit that you could just lay into this metal template and then just route out the hole, and then that was it. And it just never happened. I had, I think my modder in Europe sent me one that he had made. It's sitting around here somewhere, and it was close but not good enough. Because you're going to have to charge quite a bit for this template because it's machined.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it would really only be for modders that are doing multiples. So it just needs to be absolutely perfect, and it just wasn't. So kind of gave up on it.
Yeah, I hope people watching have picked up on all the different tools that we've talked about since I hit record on this video. All of these shelves are covered in things that are pretty essential to do a lot of these mods. And that's the one thing I always recommend. If somebody wants to get in this for a hobby because they enjoy tinkering and they enjoy doing this, by all means, learn how to mod your own stuff. Learn how to watch all the great videos out there, watch your videos. But for the people that are just like, I really have 3 consoles that I want modded and I'll never do it again, it's way cheaper to have other people do it for you. Because the amount of equipment that you have in here, from, a nicer desoldering gun to, to all of the when you just showed desoldering the surface mount components, that one thing, all that adds up a lot. I mean, you could easily drop $500 on equipment. So.
Well, I started out with crap tools too. Most people do, and then just you find out what's crap and you upgrade, and then maybe find out from another video that this tool's even better. Like, I didn't know about the Heiko 808 for years and years. I was using the old cheap, the plunger style.
Oh no!
Like this.
Oh,
I used that thing for a long time.
Ugh. Oh boy.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. That was the one thing that really surprised me the most, was when I started messing with different modding stuff, just by upgrading my tools. It's something that used to take 2 hours, took 40 minutes maybe. So that's
I'd say, other than the 808, probably upgrading to the JBC soldering station was one of the biggest jumps. I just couldn't believe it.
With the removable tips, so that you don't have to just get one of those Radio Shack guns with the medium-sized tip on it, all that stuff. And
that one just recovers so fast, and you can get different tips that are huge and small, and just switch between them real quick, and boom, it's already hot, and just keep going. It's great.
Well, thank you very much for the inside look into your lab. This was very cool. I'm glad I finally got to come down and hang out with you in person after all these years. But this definitely isn't going to be the last time you see me. Hopefully we can get you down to New York, hang out with the crew in Brooklyn,
I'm definitely coming
down
to New
there.
York, yeah.
So, all right, man. Thanks. If you guys want to see more of these, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll have the video link up there for the rest of the RetroRGB Road Trip episodes.